right? It's individual, it's unique. So I don't know how many you should have versus you should have versus you should have versus it's all different. And if we have that goal, put that grade of where it is, and you say, oh, it's just about proper functioning, ask the question. They should be able to say, oh, well, we need to fill in this a little bit. You're still a little high on bank alteration here. This stubble height's a little low. So if you fix those, then you'll be proper functioning. How else would you do it? I don't either.
So it's the bottom line, if we can't get all of this yellow and red into green, we lose our permits?
No. The bottom line is if you're functional for this, here's your standards for grading. Okay? You got a 6 to 8 inch stubble height on a green line. You got a 35% utilization. You got a 20% stream bank alteration and 30% woody ground.
I think I have an answer to Jim, and that would be if your section of creek has been rated as properly functioning under that, then you should be okay. Am I right? It's right. So if you're at PFC, and you should have, I think the BLM, which I'm not always nice to, but I will give them that they have done PFC for all the streams. I would think that the Forest Service has for all of these allotments. Dover Spikes say that you have for them. Why then wasn't that incorporated into this? I think you're going about this backwards.
Because we have an ID team in LeGrand that's writing the forest plan revision.
But at the BLM...
Let me finish. You asked my question. I answered your question. And so we have 300 allotments, and they use the best available data that they had at their disposal, right? And they didn't have time to talk to every single range county, go to every single permittee and say, you have any specific information.
Okay, well, when we were doing PFC on the BLM, I was in charge of it as a watershed specialist. And what would happen is when PFC got done, they would give it to me, I would give it to GIS with a map. And so it's all, am I wrong here, BLM guy? It's all on a layer. So why, I'm asking, why hasn't
we don't have a proper functioning condition protocol like the BLM.
That's right.
And so we use some of their protocol.
But you probably do have it, right? You guys have done PFC?
We do have some.
I don't know how much it covers, but yeah, we have some.
That you can get up to the LeGrand
and so that's why it's
office.
important for us. So this is what it is, right now. So this is basically, and I don't think this is exactly what's in the forest plan revision, but that's what's going to move forward.
But when you go back to look at it, I mean, it would be simple to look at it now for you to say, okay, on Immigrant Creek, the PFC was done and it's good, so.
So we're not going to make changes to those maps between now and the draft decision that comes out. When we go out to the office to reevaluate, that's the time to bring that in.
Okay.
So, if watershed based or individual allotments, three different allotments with three different permittees on the same watershed, can the middle allotment be green and the top one be yellow and the bottom one be red, or all one color because the bottom is red?
They can all be different. So it should be allotment, pasture-based by allotment. Because streams that go through 3 allotments, there's different management in different allotments. Typically, there's different conditions on the stream. So you'll be evaluated on your management in your allotment. And if there's more than one of you in an allotment, then it's based on how both of you work together to achieve those conditions.
So there's automatically, these maps are Silver Spikes have proper functioning stream documented, yet they automatically get a 2-inch reduction on the Silver Spike. They go from a 4 to 6 to 6 to 8 for no reason. They received awards yesterday for they were thrown under the bus, just like they were red.
No. So maybe I'm not explaining it right. So right now, if that's what's in the forest plan revision, for example, we have to implement these if we do nothing else. Okay? If we do nothing else,
Let me add that until they do. You're here to listen.
I'm listening.
Until you reevaluate the stream, they get okay.
No. You have 5 years, so your management stays the same, right? We have 5 years to bring in that data. 5 years to look at the good management that they've done and evaluate where they are. If it's yellow, maybe it's really green. If it's green, then it's this, 4 to 6 inches. So it's no change for them. But we have 5 years to bring that information and modify what's on that to determine whether it's appropriate for their allotment, for that stream, to determine whether they have 4 inches or 6 inches or whatever the percentage use is. No cuts, right? So no proposed cuts in the forest plan. And we want improved watershed conditions. Sometimes if the conditions are really bad and there's no flexibility in management and we're overstocked, that's going to result in a cut. That's the way it is. And then we kind of go through that process, okay? And sometimes it's nothing at all. Sometimes it's what you're doing right now, what you're implementing. And so it's no change right now. You've already made the changes in your allotment, and we're getting the specific information. Here's what applies. Your standards stay the same. At a forest plan revision scale, so this is a broad scale. It's not allotment specific. It's a broad 3/4 scale. That's why this may not be 100% accurate for your allotment. I'm sure it isn't. Did I clarify that enough? So you're not going to be whacked right out the gate as soon as it's final saying, now it's 8 inches. Haha, I got you. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to provide a phase-in period for 5 years where there aren't T&E fish to be able to work through the specific data and really get a good handle on where you're at and function.
What is the exact definition of properly functioning?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody has it somewhere.
Pretty ill prepared to inform us.
So remember me saying that somebody was supposed to give this PowerPoint, right? And they couldn't make it. And so I felt it was important to keep the meeting and give you guys this information as soon as we could, so you were aware of what was going on, so we can begin moving forward to work together to try to figure out with the counties or whoever to be able to work through this. So some of the questions you ask me are very unfair because I'm not an expert on everything, right? And so I could say, okay, I want you to do a ranching 101, come up here. And some people would ask questions and go, I'm not sure I'll have to find answers for that, which is what I'm trying to do. So that's why we have somebody taking notes. So I can find the questions on, can I please have the economic information for the plan, right? I heard that. Can we please have the desired conditions and how you come up with that? So I apologize if I'm failing here, but I'm really doing the best I can to try to answer your questions.
Is the state and transition model that the scientists at the research center developed going to work for this monitoring?
I think as we look at ecological condition, as whether we're kind of stuck or whether we're on that cusp of transitioning to something different, that state transition model, I think that can be a framework for how we evaluate things. I mean, to bring that forward, I think it's important. Not necessarily that, I don't know exactly conceptually when you say that, what you're thinking of how that would be used. I just conceptually know the model, so.
Be willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the answers to that is in some of these analysis and some of the triggers are relative to zero stage, which is only the state transition model. There's a component in
Question on how the utilization percentages in the stubble heights mesh up. So like on this page where you talked about maximum percent utilization of the sort of duration of the annual
utilization is supposed to be the upland utilization versus the green line stubble height standard. Is that what you're, that's the link there. I don't know if I can get back to the green table here.
So the green's gonna be the up.
This one. So here, so this is utilization. Oh, that's woody species. Right. Here's the utilization. So 40% upland utilization versus the stubble height, 4 to 6 inch stubble height at the green line. So that's what that's supposed to be. So your upland utilization standard is supposed to be 40%.
Is there going to be clipping that actually goes on to determine that meaning?
It depends, I think, on the range cons experience, really. I mean, whether they've done the ocular stuff, clip and weight enough to make sure that their eyes tune in or not. And I don't know how you.
We have some ways of, on different species, red herring, we do, and the uplands all the time, I'm not familiar with that. But we have some tools to convert a height between those species.
Height weight curves.
Have height weight curves.
Yeah. I'm getting tired of hearing myself talk, but I'll answer as many questions as I can or try.
I just want to throw out something. I'm going to be around till 4, Mark Owens and Arnie County. If you have specific questions, maybe I can help answer. If you need information needs, come to me. If you have questions that develop in the next week or two, I can be a source of trying to get the answer from Steve. I'd like to have a community meeting or community town hall in a week or two, once you guys have time to absorb this, because I need direction from you guys on how you want the county to help. We might have some immediate goals, we might have some long-term goals, when I say after June, but I need direction from you guys. Steve spent several hours with me trying to get me up to speed on how I can be a help to them, but also my main point is how I can help you guys. So I'll be around till 4, come talk to me, and I'll set up a meeting hopefully the 2nd of March or something. Those are when I come to try to give us direction. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a drought year and a drought year at 6 days, so I know we have about 40%.
Still get 40% utilization based on current year's growth.
They're maybe that grass is for it right now. At a rate year to year, or not wet, not dry, it's how full that grass gets.
So you still should have a move trigger that whether it's wet or dry, you should move, or your move trigger is if it's 4 inches and it's a dry year, move it 4 inches when the grass is up, right? If it's a wet year, maybe you just stay longer.
But your 40%, if I understand this correctly, is the non-green zone. That stubble height, irregardless of what kind of a year it is for the riparian, correct?
Stubble height.
So if it's a dry year and things don't grow very tall, maybe you can't meet that 6 to 8 inch stubble height even before you go in.
Right, and that's some of the site-specific stuff that if the capacity or capability of the stream is really, if it has to be a really good year to consistently get that 6 to 8 inches, that's where that specific information will come and help modify what you have. And then maybe 4 inches is appropriate there. But we don't know that until we go out and look.
Current year's growth, in general, especially on, woody species, you can tell very easily what is crazy, what is crazy. More difficult on red herring species. I don't know a lot about that, frankly, but, upper grass is what you tell current year's growth. So that's what we measure.
And hopefully you're stocked appropriately where you can get your AUMs on your permit in drought years versus, wet years, it's kind of a bonus, and drought years is year in, year out. And usually we're not necessarily that way. So the drought years are the real struggle years, and you have to go home a little early, and I mean, that's just, keep weight on your calves, so that's just,
How good chance is it that this plan will be adopted as it is now? Nothing changed between now and June.
So we're trying to thread the needle of being flexible for you all in the management of the resources and still making a living and trying to meet the needs of the environmental community.